many strings is it?
Well, there's 6 on my guitar.
Well, here's one with 5. Just kind of let that thumb hang free and enjoy the music.
I was born my papa's son. When I hit the ground, I was on my run. One right hand, another behind. You can have your just give me mine.
Malcolm, our job tonight actually is to scare people to death.
That if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can yell wolf in a crowded theater.
I wanted to ask you about what some people are calling your best week ever. Last week, you had 2 Supreme Court decisions supportive of the Affordable Care Act and of gay rights. You also delivered a speech down in Charleston that was pretty warmly received. It seems that you've built up some political capital for the remaining months of your presidency. I'm curious how you want to use it.
Whatever happened to Uncle Arthur?
Well, I wonder what our panel of Anderson Cooper lookalikes think.
3 out of 4 Anderson Coopers are not amused.
The Froglegs cookout was so awesome, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I was just overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the love from all the patrons that came. I was like a deer in the headlights. All I could do was stand there and sweat and grin. But, you know, I met so many of you guys who I actually thought lived in little boxes on my computer. I didn't know y'all were real. Hey. You're going down, Paul. Anyway, it was so much fun. We're gonna make it an annual event, and next year we're gonna make it bigger and better. Now we're gonna charge a little bit next year to help us cover our costs, but next year we're gonna try to have a musical guest, and we'll have a sneak preview of an episode of Intellectual Froglegs before it goes up on the internet for public consumption. So make sure you subscribe over at the website so you don't miss it. And also coming up, one of my favorite talk show hosts in the country, Phil Valentine's here. Yes, Uncle Phil's in the house. And welcome to Intellectual Froglegs. Well, it seems like forever now we've been talking about the changing media landscape. And I'm convinced the only people that actually watch the liberal media is the conservative media. I mean, seriously, aside from folks doing research and those die-hard political freaks, I don't know anybody that watches the broadcast media anymore. But their hysteria has just become predictable. And now they're ridiculously claiming that Trump's rhetoric is more dangerous than that fruitcake in North Korea with a nuke. While they conveniently never mentioned it was their liberal hero, Bill Clinton, that allowed them to have the nukes in the first place.
This is a good deal for the United States.
So Democrats and bad ideas go back a long way together.
We're the Beasleys
from Burleson, Tennessee,
and you're watching Intellectual Froglegs.
Trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding dirty.
Well, let's talk about liberals for a minute. An old friend of mine contacted me on Facebook not long ago. We went to school together back in Hazard, Kentucky, and you know, I had a great deal of respect for her. She's a doctor now. And you know what? We're going to use respect and not use her last name. But her name is Dr. Jennifer. And it's been over 30 years. So when I saw she'd sent me a message, I was excited to hear from her. But I didn't even get through the first sentence before it became apparent that she was a Trump-hating, card-carrying liberal. She just lit into me for spreading hate speech. But you know what? Rather than fight, I decided to try to be kind. You know, she was an old friend after all, and hand to God. I tried everything I knew to be friendly and to be respectful. I invited her and her husband to the Nashville area to go to a concert. Then after a little cordial back and forth, I asked her respectfully, you know, as a highly educated doctor, to explain to me the Democrat economic plan. Because you know what? If I'm mistaken about something, I want to know. I don't want to go around to believing nonsense. Now, I've seen smug liberals before, but whoa! She said I couldn't possibly understand until I, quote, stood in the fire of human suffering on a regular basis like she has. What does that have to do with the economy? But this confirms two things to me. Number one, if you are so passionate about something that you're willing to fight about it, but you can't explain why you believe it, you have been brainwashed. The second thing is that brainwashing is not limited to the great unwashed masses. My goodness, you know, I might not be right about everything. I think I am. But I can explain to you in reasonable terms exactly why I believe what I believe. And I can do it with respect, I can do it without calling you names, and I can do it without throwing temper tantrums. So anyway, in my last note to Jennifer, I just told her, I said, it saddens me to see an old friend with whom I've had great respect become so poisoned by the intolerance of left-wing politics. But you know, see, Dr. Jennifer represents the arrogant mindset of these snobbish, coastal elite left-wingers, and they have nothing but utter contempt for the idea that normal Americans like us have the right to participate in our own government. So the Democrats actually just ignore the laws and ignore the will of the people. Glenn Campbell passed away. You know, I've only met a handful of famous people in my life, but Glenn Campbell, he was a hell of a musician. My uncle was a longtime friend of Glenn. And here's a picture of Glenn at my family's home back in the hills of Kentucky, back in the early 70s. Look how pitiful my hillbilly family was. By the way, the cool dude in the white sport coat and the Ray-Bans, that's my dad. That's Joe Pat.
And the Wichita lineman is still on the line.
You know, I usually ignore polls, but this one, it cannot be denied. It really can. 1 out of 3 Hillary Clinton voters are just as dumb as the other 2. It's a scientific poll. Anyway, a lot of people are freaking out because Steve Bannon, he left the White House, he's going back to Breitbart. And just chill out. Steve Bannon and Donald Trump are not adversaries. In his official statement, Steve Bannon said he is going to war for Trump, not against Trump. Well, see, now Steve's been on the inside, and he knows the enemies of the American people. And you know, I heard an awesome analogy. It's like when Admiral Kirk was demoted to Captain Kirk so he could be unleashed to do what he does best, command a starship. And Bannon's starship is the media. And you left-wingers that have been screaming for Steve Bannon's head, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It's coming. And you know what? We put up with your crazy long enough. See, you left-wingers are never satisfied. Rather than keeping your craziness over within a reasonable proximity to your general location, you just had to come out and try to force it on us. You know what? We ain't making no damn cake. And we're not going to ignore our laws anymore, and we will not be bullied by people who don't know basic definitions of words. Jeez, are you kidding? These people don't even know the definition of the words Nazi and fascism, and they use them every day. Trump's a fascist. You heard Ronald Reagan give the definition of fascism. Okay, so now you got Donald Trump reducing the scope and power of the federal government over the private sector. That's the opposite of fascism, you dumbasses. And the Nazis were not right-wingers. It was a National Socialist Workers' Party. But see, this is the legacy of Barack Hussein, Benito, Chavez, Obama. These idiots out there tearing down these historical monuments. And the media actually tell them where to go. The media is giving them instructions. CNN published a list of, well, here's all the Confederate statues here, and here. And then here, NBC listing all the Army bases named after Confederate officers. Yeah, this one could be kind of good. I cannot wait to see these girly man buns try to take down the sign at Fort Bragg. Yeah, make sure to let us know in advance so we can videotape your ass kicking. Don't be baited into the hate. Don't be baited into the hate. I'm gonna tell you, when the history is all said and done, I have no doubt in my mind, future generations are gonna look back at us, at our generation here, and mock us and ridicule us as the most stupid era in human history. See, the left has been creating this narrative now. This is what they're trying to do, that if you don't vote Democrat, you're a Nazi. You know, a lot of people say that we're close to a civil war, and I would suggest that it's probably already started. You got the radical left over there cornered. Nothing they try has worked. They keep losing seats, and everything they throw against Trump, it doesn't stick. So now they become dangerous. They become violent, and the media gives them a free pass. I mean, have you ever heard a Democrat asked to denounce anything? You guys have heard me reference Uncle Phil and Phil Valentine several times on the show. In fact, I steal a lot of stuff from Phil. And I am thrilled to welcome Phil Valentine to Intellectual Froglegs.
Joe Dan, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We're trying to find alternatives to our media. You know, people are turning off the media, and they might be looking for books. Do you have any ideas?
I'm one. Look at that. I'll tell you how I came up with this thing. I was going to North Carolina, and it was a freak snowstorm. It was November 1st of 2014. I'm going down Highway 40, and I'm in North Carolina. And, you know, you go through those, if you've ever been there, you go through a couple of tunnels.
Right.
And I was getting ready to go into the first. I mean, it was just snowing like crazy. And I just got into the tunnel and all the traffic stopped. And we were there for over 6 hours.
In a tunnel for 6 hours?
In the tunnel for 6 hours. So the first 15 minutes or so, you're wondering, you know, when is the traffic going to go? Then after about 20 minutes, you know, you're cutting the car off and you're getting out of your car and walking around trying to figure out what's going on. And then they said there's an overturned 18-wheeler up ahead, and they got to get that out of the way, and it's going to be a while. So I said, well, screw it. I'm going to find something to entertain myself. So I went back and sat down in my car, and I pulled out my computer, and I said, well, what kind of TV shows do I have or anything? The only thing I had was a saved Nostradamus movie. It was about Nostradamus. And so I started watching this thing, and after about 5 minutes, I got into it, and I went, you know, this is really cool that he's supposedly predicted all this stuff. what if there were this secret society that made sure all this stuff came true? And then, I mean, one thing after another, I'm writing this, I'm typing into my computer, and 6 hours passes, the traffic starts, I'm going, whoa, I'm still writing.
I'm not ready to go yet.
So I got to the next exit, turned around and went home and started working on this thing, and then, then here's what we have. But I came up with this whole secret society called the First Face of Janus. And you'll find out why they're called the First Face of Janus in there.
Well, you know what? I actually started reading it myself. And it starts out just boom. I mean,
it hits the ground running.
It does. So one thing is funny, man. I was looking at some of the reviews.
Yeah.
And they're just raving reviews. They're awesome reviews. But then you got some dude who couldn't figure out how to download it, and he gave you a bad review.
It gave me 3 stars instead of 5. It says, I couldn't figure out how to download it. I said, dude, that's not a review, man. If you didn't read the book, you can't review it. I can't figure out how to download this thing. But I was surprised, with no download, he couldn't read it. He gave me 3 stars.
Yeah, that's something. That's like trying to go to a movie and getting trapped in the bathroom and just, well, I'm gonna
get that movie was awful.
Terrible movie. It's stunk. You also did the movie to go against Al Gore's inconvenient nonsense.
Well, it's funny because Al Gore's movie came out, and then our movie on Amazon went to #1 in documentaries. And it was amazing because people are looking for the alternative to what's going on out there. And ours went to #1 and stayed there for a while until we actually ran out of product. And so we had to rush product back to the Amazon. I had no idea it was going to do that. I mean, we sold it. It was unbelievable.
Hello, Phil Valentine here. Just wondering if Al Gore could come out and do an interview with us for a few minutes.
What's the occasion? I gotta tell you, your notion that this planet's gonna fry in 30 years...
Don't be afraid.
This Congress doesn't know what's gonna happen in a week, let alone 30, 40 years.
Phil Valentine.
Should I videotape it? I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, I'm not either. Phil Valentine.
Is he videotaping though?
He's videotaping me though.
Am I in the shot?
No.
And so we've lowered the price. I'm not making a dime off this thing, but we're trying to get it to a price point where I can break even and get the message out there. You say, well, why don't you put it on Netflix? Well, we tried Netflix, and Netflix turns it down.
They turned it down?
Oh, yeah, they turned it down. Even, #1 movie, they don't care. Ours is so much more entertaining. I mean, Al Gore's out there droning on about Al Gore for frickin' an hour and a half or whatever. Coming, the earth is going to warm up. And he's out there today. I mean, he's talking about the climate deniers and all this stuff. He has no evidence whatsoever on his side.
That's hilarious. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to put links to your book and to all your little media products under the video here. So,
okay.
And but right there.
Been waiting for the bus all day.
Now, one thing, I want to talk to you a little bit about your show.
Okay.
Because, man, I'm telling you, you were killing it. You do characters. And I'm telling you what, Snowflake that is like so funny, man. I mean,
let me tell you how that happened. We were just talking about all these snowflakes in college, and they're afraid to come out. They got to have their safe spaces and all this stuff. And so I just started doing this voice, this real high voice. Oh, I just don't think I can come in. And then I start talking to myself, right? So I'm interviewing myself as this voice. And before I know it, Johnny B's brought up this music under it, and it's become a bit, So, and I'm telling you, and it may be obvious to some folks, that is never planned. I mean, Johnny B, he'll just, whenever he wants to hear from Snowflake, he'll just bring the music up, and I got to come up with something.
Well, I think what is hilarious, like, Snowflake, you will come out?
No. Great job. But it sounds like Michael Jackson. I said, well, yeah, it may be. I don't know. Maybe.
But there you go.
Hey, Snowflake, Donald Trump.
He doesn't like that, does he?
No, he doesn't, but I do.
Got him at Vanderbilt. He's in the safe space. he's not come out since Trump won the election, so he's still sitting in the safe space, and the safe space is starting to stink, because he's not come out of it, and he doesn't know where to go, and he's afraid of everything, and he's got his therapy dog that he pets over there, and he watches videos of nice little bunnies and puppies and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they said it's sickening on campus to see these folks, holding these protests, and they'll, after Trump got elected, they're holding the protests, and they're holding hands, and all of them just standing there crying. And I'm going, oh, really? You're just standing there crying? Oh, no. Somebody's backhand these people.
Yeah, they're having cuddle parties and crap like.
And spooning and stuff.
Yeah. I'll just hang out over here. Y'all have fun.
Well, you ain't spooning me, pal, I'm going to tell you that. Joe, they got professional cuddlers now. They go around to these places and cuddle with these people. Oh, let me just hug you for a second. It feels so much better. Oh, please.
And they didn't think that degree would pay off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a master's in cuddling.
Nobody I know has ever seen Johnny B. And I just saw a picture of it. Now, see, we were picturing like Al from Tool Time. And the funny thing is he's got the beard.
Oh, yeah.
And the same kind of color hair.
Oh, yeah. He's a great looking guy. He was a country music star there for a while. So he's done it all.
Well, we're big fans of Johnny B. And he does a great job with your snowflakes. So he produces your show.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he is. I mean, all the music you hear, he puts all the music in. He books the guests. I mean, he makes everything. He makes everything churn.
The funniest thing I think I've heard, and you weren't even there, was you had an interview with a Van Halen.
That's what I heard. I was gone. It's like, what? Hey, look, I'm telling you, drugs, they won't hurt you, man.
See, your show is the closest thing to like intellectual Froglegs because you're funny, you make people laugh, and you play just the ass-kicking music.
I mean, he picks all the music, so that's his deal. And he's really got a great ear for picking that up, and it gives our show a distinct sound, that nobody else has.
Oh, it does. That's why I steal from you.
Yeah.
You guys are good. I'd have a lot more work to do if I didn't have such a good source. Well, Phil, God bless you, man. It is awesome to have you on. Thank you for coming on Intellectual Froglegs. And come back sometime.
Anytime, man. I'm right here. I'm a Skype away.
A Skype away. And tell Johnny B we said hi. Tell Froglegs are fans of him, too.
I'll do it, man.
Phil, rock on, brother. Thank you, man.
Good.
And the New York Times, they regularly publish these pro-communist articles. And again, they just published this glowing article of life in the Soviet Union. And in this piece, it was talking about how women in the Soviet Union had better sex. And they said that women in the Soviet Union never had to have sex for money. Well, maybe it's because they didn't have any money. They'd do it for a sardine and a cracker. Poor little skinny thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Before we go, I want to share a quick note from Carol out in Colorado. Carol says, "Dear Joe Dan, I love your show. It's extremely clever and funny, but if you would stop your passive-aggressive promotion of Christianity, you would probably get a deal with one of the major networks." That reminds me, when you have God in your heart, you can be surrounded by a tornado of crap, and you will still have this peace. I'm telling you. So, thanks for reminding me, Carol. Anyway, please visit our website at intellectualfroglegs.com. Subscribe to the show alerts and donate if you can. Froglegs are free to watch, but they ain't free to make. Daggone it. If you're too broke to donate, well, we're probably cousins. But even broke people can share the show. It's important to share the show. We're grassroots, man. Ain't no joke about that. It's our 5th year. I want to thank Phil Valentine for coming on, too. Boom. Anyway, please share the show with everybody you can, and I hope you'll come back for the next hair-raising adventure of Intellectual Froglegs. God bless.